Well, good morning. Good morning. I'd like to sing a song for you today called Come to the Water. Oh, let all who thirst, let them come.
Thank you, Julie. That was really beautiful. I love that one. Yeah. Welcome. All are welcome here. This is Unity Spiritual Center of North Idaho, where our mission is to inspire people to live love and uplift lives. Will you join me in prayer? Mother, Father, God, I give thanks to you today for my divine inner guidance. I relax and trust that I am guided to the perfect path for me. I also know that it is not the destination that is important, but the journey. So let me choose one based on joy, for I am having a human experience, and it's all about the experiences that I have. I let go of worry and second guessing. I let go of the need to fight and to control and to do everything to someone else's standard of right. I am bound to your strength, knowing that as surely as the breaths I take. If I feel anxious about a decision, I take the time to become centered and feel your guidance flow through me. I take a relaxing breath, and I know that I make choices and choose my path through life with your guidance. Amen. And now a reading from the Daily Word. The Daily Word today is inner peace. I express the peace of God. Peace, be still. With these words, Jesus claimed his authority and calmed the stormy waters. Following Jesus' example, I too claim authority. In a stressful moment, I center my awareness in the divine presence that lives in me and expresses through me. This divine presence is perfect life, love, and wisdom. It is peace that nothing and no one can disturb. No matter what may be happening around me, at the center of my being, there is always peace. It is an aspect of my divine inheritance, as near as my next thought. I release all fear and tension and embrace the peace of God. As I do, divine peace radiates from the center of my being. It clarifies my thoughts, calms my emotions, and relaxes my body. In every situation, I am a presence of peace. Those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust you. Isaiah 26:3. Now, if you'll please stand and join in song.
Okay, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to sing I Am a Point of Light.
You can feel any darkness when you recall you are a point of light in the light of God. We are a point of light in the light of God, endless with possibilities. Yes, we can feel any darkness
in the light of God.
Yeah, I like that pause. That's cool. Okay, at Unity, we are an affirming ministry that honors the many names of God, the many faces of God, and the many paths to God. We bless all people of every race, color, and creed without exception. We also are a ministry of prayer, and through the Silent Unity Prayer Ministry, there is someone praying for us every day. If you would like to submit a prayer request, there are forms in the seat backs in front of you. You can place the completed forms in the offering containers as you leave or in a prayer vessel in the hall. We will pray with you for 30 days and then send on the request to Silent Unity, who will then pray for you for another 30 days. And today, we welcome our featured musicians. We've got Julie Croteau, Leanne Erlin Moore. We've got Gary Butner, Dagan Williamson, and Pam. You're not down there, but I heard you.
She's in.
Okay. So back on sound, we have Jim Sullenberger. PowerPoint, we have Brian Wright, who also keeps me on track. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. And video streaming is Mark Sauce. So if you're here and you're seeing us on the web, thank you, Mark. Yay.
He sings too.
He sings too. I hear him back there. It's kind of nice. We are also welcoming those who are here for the first time or are watching us online or found us on Facebook. We believe you found us by divine appointment. Please let us know you are watching by filling out a guest form or sending us an email to unity@unitycenter.org. And as always, we have some wonderful announcements. And you can find these on our website, or Brian sometimes is really good and pops them up behind me. Reverend Steve's Meditations for Living. Flip it over. See? Every day, every Sunday, he helps me out. I so appreciate you. Okay. With the goal of maintaining safety, we are putting together a virtual Fat Follies this year. If you are unfamiliar with Fat Follies, it is our annual variety show featuring skits, songs, dances, and jokes from members of our Unity community. And they're usually pretty darn good, too. It's pretty fun.
Hey, Tammy?
Yes?
I put a link to last year's Fat Follies recording on the website, so if somebody wants to watch the last year's one to kind of get an idea what kind of skits and things are appropriate, it's on the website.
Well, sometimes we get the appropriate in there. Yes. So sometimes we try, which is good. But if you go there, you can get an idea of what we're looking for. To keep people safe, this year's performances will be pre-recorded. So submit your video,
Yes,
right?
Yes. And I have a challenge.
Oh, no. Oh, no. She's
I have
challenging
a
us.
challenge to all of you to submit a video, and we'll see which one's going to be best. Actually, I was looking online the other day, and there's a rage right now going on for sea shanty songs. You just pick some other song and put it to the lyric of a pirate sea shanty song. So that's kind of fun if anybody wants to put that together. But really, you can do a video on your phone. If you have a laptop with a computer, you can put a video together really easily that way. And then if you need a little more help, come see me, and we can probably do something here as well. But we want to do a really great show, and then we'll show it probably sometime in March. Be great. Thanks.
I think this will be fun, and this is great. I see family back there. You guys could do something really incredible. I mean, I've seen some stuff on TikTok that's just like, it blows your mind. It's so good. So, and it's kind of interesting. We kind of each get to do it ourselves and in our own time. We don't have to be nervous. So I think this will be a lot of fun. So the deadline for submitting videos is February 28th. And if you need some help, Julie's available, so you can contact her. Our annual meeting is scheduled for Sunday, February 28th at noon. You can attend in person or virtually via Zoom. Please try and attend for us. We do want to, I'm a member of the board, we do want to hear your opinions. We do want you to be there for us, and in return, we will try and keep it moving along as best we can. So that's my promise to you if you attend the meeting. Also, our bylaws require an annual renewal of membership for the 2021 fiscal year. You can renew by completing a printed form in the church office, or by accessing the online membership form on our website, or by calling the church office at 208-664-1125. And thank you in advance for that. Household cleaners come in plastic containers, and do they ever, by the gobful. Okay. These containers are designed to use once and then throw away. So this month's environmental challenge is to replace single-use plastic bottles with silicone-lined reusable glass containers that you can refill with natural organic cleaners. The sleeve ensures that the contents flow easily and do not stick to the inside of the bottle. You can find these ecological cleaning solutions at the Grove Collaborative, www.grove.co.
It is CO, it's not COM.
It's not COM, it's CO, company, yeah. There are samples in the hallway and more details on our website. So I encourage you to do some experimentation and see how they work. Now, Reverend Steve's Meditations for Living. Help transform how you live life challenges such as creating prosperity, healing cancer, and cultivating healthy relationships. You can view them all on our website or YouTube channel. And we increase the power of prayer when we do it together. That is the purpose of our Silent Unity Healing Service. It is offered online each Wednesday at 12 p.m. This 20-minute program boosts our combined prayer energy and creates a safe place to request support. To join this online gathering, click Silent Unity Healing Service in the website header. If you do not use a computer or a smartphone, you can join the service by voice only by dialing a conference call number. If you prefer this approach, please see Reverend Steve for assistance. And Geraldine has been blessed over the past 2 years to have a volunteer working with her as an office assistant. What made him unique was his advanced computer and office skills. Unfortunately, he's moving to Las Vegas in February and can't be talked out of it, and we've tried. Consequently, Geraldine is looking to find a new person to take his place on Thursday from 10 to 2. If you like working with spreadsheets and have experience preparing mail merges, Geraldine can use your help, and she's a lot of fun, and it should be a fun, pleasant experience. Can you contact her or stop by the office and find a way to serve? It's always good. Also, I have some Family Promise news I need to announce. They are asking for donations, if you can. They've had a trying year because they haven't been able to use churches to house the homeless. They've had to buy hotel rooms. And so they are asking all of the churches in the area if they can collect donations from them. So if you have one, and you can make your check out to Family Promise, or you can put Family Promise on the envelope. I will take those over to Family Promise, or you can go to the Family Promise of North Idaho website and give there. But they could sure use your help. So, to find more about what is happening here, subscribe to our newsletter or go to our website, unitycenter.org. Now, let us prepare for meditation.
And now I invite you, if you would, just to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And if you're watching from home, just become still. And just begin to feel the connection that exists between all of us, whether we are here in this room or whether we are someplace else.
there is this divine connection, divine understanding, divine presence that binds us together. Charles Fillmore said that it's love, and love is the glue of the universe. And so as we love ourselves, love who we are, love this amazing physical body that we've been given, love this planet that we can live on, and love all the people that have the opportunity to walk their paths. As we love each other and ourselves equally, we create a wonderful bond, a connection, a dynamic that permeates time, space, or distance. It moves instantaneously amongst us. That opens the door for the divine energy, the spiritual substance of God, to come through each of us and for us to share it with others. Share it through our thoughts and feelings and good intentions and words. That we share this spiritual journey together, that we are all on a path. And each of the paths that we are on might have some different twists and turns and uniquenesses to them. But essentially we are all headed for the same destination, in the sense that we seek to be the most creative, loving, dynamic, expressive, and conscious individuals that we can be. We seek to feel the dynamic presence of the Holy Spirit of God, this divine loving energy that exists, that holds our universe together, and to recognize that we're a part of it all, that there is no separation. There's only the uniqueness that makes us who we are. And so we enter this space in gratitude, deep gratitude. Gratitude for what we have been given, what we have created, and what we are bringing forth right now. Gratitude that we have the guidance, both the external and internal guidance, to do what is ours to do. That we are led to live a fulfilling, meaningful, prosperous life. That we seek to honor this gift and to bring it forth into the world. And we take a moment to bless all those who are in our lives, all those that we can think of right now, all of our family and friends, even those who we may have some disagreements with or some challenges with. We include them in that blessing, for we know that those are only temporal. They are opportunities to go deeper, to be more forgiving, more loving. They are opportunities to look at ourselves and see how we operate and function and interact in our world. Perhaps opportunities to soften our edges, open our hearts, be more of what we've come here to be. And so we bless all of these people in our lives, and we send this loving energy to them right now, regardless of whatever circumstances may exist. Spirit is working actively in them as well. And we know our oneness, we know our connection, we feel the blessing, we appreciate the moment. Send a special prayer today to Alice Adams, who is on her journey, and to Randy Cardwell as well. For they are both rehabilitating, coming back from some challenges, and so we want to bless them. We want to include them in our thoughts and prayers. We want to give them strength and energy and courage and fortitude and determination to come back from their challenges fully healed and working well. And we send a blessing to anyone else that may need our support, may need our love. And so we see them resonating in the healing energy of Spirit. And we do this as we rest for just a moment, just a minute, in the silence of our own being, in the silence.
Let's sing together. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. Let's do that one more time. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace.
Feels good to be here. I just want to mention our spirit groups, which are, we have 60 people involved in our 7 spiritual groups, which is exactly what we were hoping to create. So very pleased about that. We have 3 or 4 of the groups are closed, but there are some groups that are still open. I think Julie still has room in her group. I have
lots of room.
yeah, she is. She's roomy. And I have room in my group. It's an in-person group here at the church on Wednesdays afternoons. And then there's 2 other Zoom groups, which also have some room as well. So we're very delighted and know that I've got a lot of really positive feedback with folks that have attended the groups, and we're very excited. An old friend of mine, who has also happened to be a business partner of mine back in 1981, I hate to make dates, but it's a ways back. And we were, there's 3 of us that are in business together, and he would come in. He was this kind of this sort of extroverted guy, and he would come into the office in the morning, and he'd walk in, and I'd see him, and I'd say, "Well, how are you doing this morning?" And every time I would ask him, he would say, "Oh," he says, "I feel so great, I'm going to have a runaway." And then he would laugh. And it was his standard comment. But, you know, when he said it, you kind of lift, you just kind of, oh, okay. Kind of lifted the energy, right? And so he would, we were in the insurance business, and he would go out, and he'd come back in the office, and he hadn't gotten a sale that he wanted to get. And so he'd come in, and I'd say, "Well, how did you do?" And he'd say, "Well," he says, I was waiting for my ship to come in, but I was at the bus station." And then he would laugh, And he just had this way about him that he did that. Well, one day we were at he had a birthday party, a 40th birthday party for his wife back then. And we were at the party, and he all of a sudden in the middle of the party, somewhere along the line, he says, he says, "I've always told Betsy that when she turned 40, I was going to trade her in for 2 20s. And I looked at her, and she wasn't laughing. She had this look, and you know how spirit kind of works a little bit, and all of a sudden I piped up and I said, "Well," I said, "isn't that kind of like trading in a Cadillac for 2 Volkswagens?" And she lit up like a full moon on a warm summer night. I mean, you could just see the shift in her face. I don't think he ever used that phrase again, because now she had a retort, to come back. And it's interesting. It's interesting that we spend a lot of time and energy, talking about thoughts and how our thoughts create our reality and create our all the things that we do, and about creativity. And thoughts are so important because they're of our inner world. Our thoughts, what we think, is really about what's going on internally inside of us. But thoughts are just things. They're things. They're nothing in and of themselves. They're just things, like a pile of rocks. If you have a pile of rocks sitting there, a nice big rock sitting in that pile of rocks, it's just a pile of rocks, right? Just there's nothing to it until our imagination kicks in. Until all of a sudden we see that thought or the pile of rocks differently. And so all of a sudden we see this pile of rocks and we look at it, and all of a sudden we begin to imagine that those rocks could be a rock wall. And it could surround this garden that we might have. And it would look beautiful, and all of a sudden we think about what it would look like, what it would feel like, what we would experience when we put these rocks into a rock wall. We create something out of them, and we start to get excited. We start to feel something. There's this energy that exists, and then we begin to think about the wisdom part of it. We think about, okay, how am I going to do it? We start thinking about the possibilities that exist, and our enthusiasm builds up, and then we take a first step. We take an action step. We do something with the rocks. And that creates a different reality for us. And all of a sudden we have a different reality, something that we've experienced in our life. And that's the creative process that we talked about this past week. If I said the word baby, everybody would probably have a little different thing in their minds. But it probably wouldn't create a lot of emotion. It would just be baby. But if I said your baby, what about, remember your baby, your child as a baby? All of a sudden we start feeling something. We start experiencing something because of that connection. And it begins to open up the door of our imagination, and we start to think. And these images and these feelings show up, and then we take them somewhere. We choose to do something with them. So in 1977, there was a project that was done at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and Mindy talks about that in her book that we're using for our series. And in that study, basically they took a bunch of people and hooked them up with wires, sensing wires on their body to get a sense of what they were reacting and feeling, and they set them in front of computer screens, and they began to show different images on the screen. And then it would record the reaction that they would have to those different images. And they showed some beautiful images, some beautiful scenery, and some all kinds of pleasant things. And then all of a sudden they'd slip in these gruesome things, the things that you probably don't want to see. And so they would record the reaction. And so, not unsurprisingly, when they threw in the bad things, there would be a significant physical reaction that people would have when they saw them. It would evoke something in them. And that's not really the most important thing. The most important thing that they discovered was that people had a physical reaction before the image came up. Before the image went across. Actually, they hadn't seen it yet, and their body was having a reaction. And then, boom, the image came up. And that was significant, because what it tells us is that the body has the capacity to respond before the mind even perceives what's going on. That the body has this intuition within itself, somehow, that it anticipates, or it has the capacity to anticipate. And so we are wired physically for this kind of inner wisdom that when we talk about our inner guidance, that conversation that we talk about having inner guidance. Inner guidance comes because we talk about this gut check. It comes because of something we feel. Or we feel something. And oftentimes we feel that in anticipation of something that shows up. How many times has that happened to you in your life experience? And it usually is a physical sort of reaction that occurs. And so our bodies are so interconnected with our brain and everything else in terms of how it shows up. And who's to say whether one's smarter than the other? Wisdom, we are wired for inner wisdom. We are hardwired physically for inner wisdom, to know, to feel, to experience, to anticipate the future. And wisdom is not about our thoughts. It's about feelings. It's about understanding. It's about an awareness. When we have something that's profound that shows up, we feel it. It's like that my response at the birthday party. It's just I felt something and responded. I didn't think it through. It was there, and it didn't come from some intellectual mind game. It came because I felt something that expressed itself through me, and that's often how it shows up in our experience. We talk about our IQ, which is our intellectual intelligence, theoretically, but we don't often talk as much about our EQ, which is our emotional intelligence, the sense of how our emotions can help us and move us through the experience of life. And Heart Math did a lot of work on emotional intelligence, because they call it heart intelligence. And Heart Math is an organization down in Boulder, California, that has done a lot of deep work in terms of the intelligence of our heart, which is really the intelligence of our physical body, or the intelligence that exists in our emotional, our feeling nature, that we are seeking to guide us and to move us and to help us make decisions and decide what's appropriate, how we move forward in our life experience. We are so much more than just physical human beings. We're so much more. We're a neurowired being that is connected in so many different ways that we don't even see it or necessarily realize it. And we have the capacity to unleash infinite possibilities in our life if we understand the process by which those things come forth. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "There is no planet, sun, or star could hold you if you but knew what you are." And I would add, and if you knew how to access your potential. If you knew who you are and what you are and how to access it, there's nothing that can hold us back from doing the things and being what it is that we've come here to be. Mindy Odlin, in her book, says, each thought we hold in mind activates a corresponding feeling based on our past experiences. Each thought we hold in mind, that we grab onto, that we connect with in some way, activates a feeling based on our experience or our journey through life. We understand that. And feelings either launch us or they stifle us. Either they move us forward or they stop us. And the feelings that stop us are fear, anger, frustration, all those kinds of dynamics are the feelings that stop us. But the feelings that move us forward are the feelings of possibilities and opportunity. It's interesting that in this journey that we've been through this last year in the environmental team in wanting to create a world without plastics, that's kind of been our focus, has been an amazing journey in so many ways, because when we first thought about this whole idea, the idea of creating a world without plastic, gosh, it just seems so huge. I mean, it's just like, you just think about, we were watching these videos and stuff, it's just enormous. I mean, it's just a huge thing to look at. But when we took it from out here, this big world, and brought it to living my life, learning to live my life without plastics, it all of a sudden becomes something that is much different, much more possible. And so the idea is to make a shift in lifestyle and how I view things. And I'll talk about me specifically, but I know the rest of the environmental team has had a very similar experience. It's like it's changed my habit pattern significantly as we've gone through each step and tried new things and done new things. And I feel more and more empowered every single month that goes by as I see my life choices changing. And the feeling, the idea of a world without plastics in my life, and then that leads to the imagination of how that's going to happen. I think about, okay, how are we going to do that? And the research that we do, and look at how it is that we can find the products and the things that we need to do to make the shift in consciousness. And all of a sudden it becomes fun, becomes a game. It becomes something that makes a huge difference. And as each one of us do that, all of a sudden this new reality begins to be created in our life. Charles Fillmore, in his book, The 12 Powers of Man, writes, and he talks about enthusiasm, which is zeal in this case. Zeal is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the storms. It urges the planet on its course and spurs the ant to great exertion. To be without zeal is to be without the zest for living. Zeal and enthusiasm incite to glorious achievement in every aim and ideal that the mind conceives. Zeal is the impulse to go forward, the urge behind all things. Without zeal, stagnation, inertia, death would prevail throughout the universe. The person without zeal is like an engine without steam or an electric motor without a current. Energy is zeal in motion, and energy is the forerunner of every effect that occurs. And where does energy come from? Feelings. It comes from how we feel about what it is that we're doing. It comes from how we connect about it. And when we enter into that feeling part of the experience, in our EQ becomes forward, and our imagination kicks in, which brings us into our feeling nature, and then wisdom shows up, and then enthusiasm carries us through the experience. I don't know how many of you get the Coeur d'Alene Press, but there was an article yesterday in Saturday's Coeur d'Alene Press about this woman who's 100 years old. You ever see it? You didn't? Well, you should see it. She's been selling Avon for 70 some years. 78 years. She has a little Avon store connected to her house on Best Avenue. And she looks like she's 80 at the most. You see her picture in the paper. And she says, and they ask her about, she says, well, I just think people who retired are lazy. I can just hear her, but there's this and I don't necessarily agree with her, but I just think you can just see, you just get a sense that you can really like this person, that her energy. And she's still doing it. She's still running her business, selling Avon. She's got all these products all over the store, and she still has that zest, that energy for what it is that she's doing. And the city fought her once, tried to shut her down, and she won. She's not the kind of person you want to battle with. And it's inspiring in an interesting way to see that kind of experience. And that's how it works. All this takes place, this cycle that we get into, it all starts when we have a thought in our head about something, and then we have the understanding to ask the question, to use the 2 magic words. We talked about this last week, the 2 magic words. And the 2 magic words are, what if? What if this is a great idea? What if I could do this? What if, what if I could find products to replace the ones that I have? What if, all of a sudden we start asking the question, what if? And what if brings us into our imagination and into a connection, a deeper connection and a deeper feeling with what's going on. I was in last fall during the election. I found myself on Facebook, jousting with people, various people and friends, that I get their posts and stuff. Particularly, there's several of my friends from high school, if you believe it or not. In fact, one of them, a lady, she's, we're obviously the same age, and she was posting all this stuff that I was responding to, and finally she writes me, she says, Steve, she said, I thought you were smart in high school, but I'm having my doubts. And I wrote back, I said, well, I think I was more of a smart aleck than smart. But I was just getting frustrated because I would sit and I would write something that I thought was a good response, and you just get all this stuff back, right? That was just pretty difficult, and I was just having a very difficult struggle with it. And I thought, well, I think I'd stop doing this. And I thought, no, I don't. So I asked the question, what if? What if I found a way to do this in a constructive way, right? And so I was thinking about it, and all of a sudden, this idea came up for a forum or a place we could go and debate respectfully, right? Online. We could, with a place that had, a set of rules and did some fact checking automatically, and we could debate respectfully. And then all of a sudden, the idea of face-off world popped in my head, and I started thinking about way back when William F. Buckley Jr. and Gore Vidal. I don't know. You have to be a few years into your retirement age to remember this. But Gore Vidal, and they used to debate. And so I went on to YouTube and found some debates and watched a few of them. And as I did some research, I read some articles, and they actually didn't like each other. But they would sit down together and they would have these very appropriate discussions, and they had a lot of energy to them and a lot of attention to them, but they were respectful. And they kind of fit within a certain pattern, and you could watch them and you felt like you could learn something that they were doing. And I thought, that feels like that's sort of missing from a lot of our debate dialogue. And so so that face-off world thing came up, and so I went on GoDaddy.com and to see if that website was taken, and it wasn't. So I bought it for $20. faceoffworld.com. So I got www.faceoffworld.com. So I bought that, and so I started getting a little more excited about it. Okay, I've got myself set up for something that I could move forward with on this thing. And so then, as my energy amped up, I started thinking about more creative ways of responding to the ones that I was dealing with at the moment, right? And so I started trying to put an edge of kindness and compassion onto my comments and try to reframe them and think them through a little bit. And interestingly enough, it made a difference. I started getting less divisive responses. Sometimes it'd be head scratching, and sometimes they'd accuse me of being a minister, and but that's okay, I was okay with that, and so I haven't done a lot with the face-off world thing yet, but I have that in my kind of, I got through this season, and so I'm thinking like, okay, I've got a lot of work to do. But I feel like that's something that could make a difference in terms of the world, and I've found more and more ways in which that can be done. I've had people, as I mentioned it, come up and say, well, you could do this, and you could do that, and you could do this. And so you kind of open this door, right, for creative activity, and that's how it works. If we understand that creative cycle, if we understand that if we have a thought and we what if it, and our imagination gets kicked in, and we start connecting with some of the ideas that we come up with in our imagination, and we do our work, we do a little bit of research, we look into it, our wisdom, we open up the door for some wisdom, and then all of a sudden our enthusiasm takes us into some action steps. We get some positive energy moving us forward into some action steps, and we take those action steps, and when we do that, whether we get to actually setting up a website or whatever it is in my case, whether we get to that or whether it just changes the way in which we respond to somebody, we have just walked through the creative cycle consciously in our life. And when we understand that creative cycle, we understand how to take spiritual energy and bring it into our life. Bring that spiritual substance into our life experience. We may not end up in the place we think we're going to go when we start the circle, but once we create that new reality, we're in a different place. We're in a different consciousness, and our thoughts are different. And then we can take the new thoughts and we can go back through the creative cycle. And when you do that consciously in all parts of your life, you are fully engaged in the process of unfolding your life. Jesus said in Matthew 22:23, he said, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is sound, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is not sound, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? How great is the darkness? How great is the music? That's all right. So the eye is the perceiving power of the mind. It's not these eyes. It's the way we see things in terms of our consciousness. So the eye is the perceiving power of the mind to discern. And so when we discern, we consciously bring in the light. Our body is filled with light. Our experience is filled with light. Our responses are filled with light. Our responses are positive and powerful and meaningful and conscious. And we bring that imagination and wisdom and enthusiasm into moving forward in our life. Every time I get into this creative dynamic, one of the songs from my past, remember the song Feeling Groovy? Slow down. This is my version. Slow down. You move too fast. You got to make this feeling last. Just kicking around some cobblestones, having some fun, and feeling groovy. Da 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 da. That's the kind of stuff that shows up, that moves us forward, that opens us up, that makes that connection, that creates that dynamic. And it gives us time to bring spirit in and let spirit move and do its work. And, it's so exciting. You sit back and, how's spirit going to handle it? Well, all of a sudden this shifts, that changes, we get a new idea, our imagination kicks in, we go through this process again, and all of a sudden we're enjoying this incredible journey that we are creating in our life as we move. And it doesn't matter whether you're 6 or 60 or 100. I think Helen, that's her name, as I remember in the paper, is still doing this in her own kind of interesting way. Mindy says that what if upping, which is what if in a positive context? What if upping is vision therapy for the mind? Wisdom lets us know when our vision is blurry, and the what if up process calls forth the imagination to redirect our thoughts in a way that aligns with the Creator within us. It's not Pollyannish thinking. It's a systematic process that works. It's not sticking our heads in the sand. It's engaging in a way that brings the kind of energy into our experience that we wish to bring into it. In closing, as we emerge from this COVID-19 experience, this is the perfect time for us to be the most creative that we have ever been. Think about the possibilities that exist in our life right now. And what if out of this experience you're able to create something absolutely incredible because of the journey that you have been through, no matter how challenging or difficult it is, that you're actually able to take that and create something wonderful in your life. Or in that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, at least most of us can. And as we see that light, there's this potential to activate some incredible creative energy. And I think our spirit groups are helping us to put hands and feet into this process for each of us as we walk kind of through this experience. And I want to close my lesson with a quote from Charles Fillmore. And this was a quote that he gave at age 91, shortly before he made his transition and passed on. And he said, at age 91, he said, and you probably know what I'm going to say, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm for the work that I have to do. Namaste.
Yeah, we have a song for that, but we have a different one today. It's about light. So great. A little song about light.
For so long, I'm waiting for the light to shine. Far beyond horizons I have seen, beyond the dreams I've dreamed, beyond the things I've been. In fact, each and every one are the way that I was taught to run.
I'm waiting for the light to shine. I'm waiting for the light, waiting for the light. I have lived in the darkness for so long. I'm waiting for the light to shine.
Yes, I'm waiting for the light
Yes,
to
I'm
shine.
waiting for the light.
I have lived in the darkness for so long.
I'm waiting for the light to shine.
Here we go. I have lived in the darkness for so long. I'm waiting for the light to shine.
Waiting for the light to shine.
I have lived an undirected life, a cloudy way I know, the only way I knew. But the things I've done, in fact each and every one, are the way that I was taught to run.
I am waiting for the light, waiting for the light.
I have lived in the darkness
For so long, I'm waiting for the light to shine. I'm waiting for the light to shine.
living in the light. Hallelujah. I
It's shining. Oh. Well, I invite you, if you would, to take your gifts in your hands, your love offerings. We have vessels in the back as you leave, if you are so inclined. And we like to bless our gifts and just appreciate the opportunity to give. And realize that as we give, we receive. That giving is a cycle that we enter into consciously, lovingly, openly. And so we bless our gifts, whether we give through checking account deductions or by a check on Sunday mornings or in other powerful ways. We bless each of these gifts by affirming that my offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply through me. Let's affirm that together. Together? My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply through me. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Oh, so we're going to have some more fun now. It's a fun day today. Here we go. Here we go. Sing with me. This morning when I rose, y'all, I didn't have no doubt. This morning when I rose, y'all, I didn't have no doubt. This morning when I rose, y'all, I didn't have no doubt. For the Lord will take care of me. For the Lord will provide for me. For the Lord leads and guides me all the way, all the way. This morning when I rose, I didn't have no doubt. This morning when I rose, I didn't have no doubt. This morning when I rose, I didn't have no doubt. For the Lord will take care of me. For the Lord will provide for me. For the Lord leads and guides me all the way. All the way. No doubt, no doubt. I didn't have no doubt. No doubt, no doubt. I didn't have no doubt. Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I didn't have no doubt. For the Lord will take care of me. For the Lord will provide for me. For the Lord leads and guides me all the way. All the way. One more time. This morning when I rose, I didn't have no doubt. Oh, this morning when I rose, I didn't have no doubt. Oh, this morning when I rose, I didn't have no doubt. For the Lord will take care of me. For the Lord will provide for me. For the Lord leads and guides me all the way. All the way. Take it down. All the way. 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 All the way.
I'm going to be singing that song the rest of the day. I can just tell you that's one of those that's going to stick with me all the way out the door. All the way. Let us pray. Father, Mother God, we acknowledge this offering as the very substance of your being, created for our use before the world was formed. We know it has been shaped and formed in our thoughts and in our hearts, and now comes into manifestation through our thoughts and our words, and enters this your ministry with your blessing upon it. According to your perfect law, it returns to each giver heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For our increased understanding of this law, we do give thanks. Amen. Any February birthdays?
My daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law too.
Well, stand up. Anybody else? February, all right. 2 February birthdays. All right. My son-in-law,
Yeah.
It's his birthday this month.
Yeah, stay standing. We're going to sing to you.
So we're going to sing to you. Stay standing. So...
The day we were born, the angels did the bump to Gabriel's horn. God danced the day we were born, so grateful for the gift of you. God danced the day you were born, the angels did the bump to Gabriel's horn. God
please, let's everybody stand up as we close our service with our loving kindness blessing. May I be filled with loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. And may we be filled with loving kindness. We go forth in peace. Our hearts remain open. We are awakened to the light of our true nature. We are healed, and we are a healing source for all beings. Thank you, God. Amen.